Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 29th. It's July. It's the year 2020. And do you remember this channel? Remember this channel that I've been locked out of for just about 2 weeks? Well, do you remember this video do you remember this clip I showed you back on the 1st of July?
The testing could have been ramped up very quickly in a few countries that have almost avoided the epidemic entirely, like Taiwan, New Zealand, Australia. You know, they took their experience and actually prepared, and so they moved a lot faster. So we, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is will get attention this time.
So, real quick, just let me remind you, this guy, most of the mainstream people believe that he's a good guy. He gives all his money to poor people, and he's always trying to vaccinate people. He's talking about, allegedly now, remember that, the second wave of a deadly pandemic that's sweeping the country, and it's going to make a comeback. And yet, he's literally trying to keep himself from laughing. You can't miss it. They're not even hiding it because they know that average people are just that dumb. They're going to take it more seriously this time. Well, turns out he wasn't kidding. This is today. The U.S. sadly is not taking the coronavirus seriously. Well, because there's nothing to take seriously. Seriously. Look around. Open your eyes. Figure it out. I mean, this just blows me away that I'm still talking about this after all this time. But these guys are still pushing this meme. They won't stop. Oh my goodness. The deaths approach 150,000. Now remember, these are people that would have died anyways, no matter what. And they're simply being labeled with COVID-19. It's not rocket science here, people. And 150,000 deaths in 8 months? Well, let's take a look at that. Is that astronomical or is it really low? Let's find out. According to them, this is the current population. This is how many births there have been this year. Births today. Deaths this year. Deaths today. Let's take a look at some statistics here. Let's see. Let's go down to health. Seasonal flu deaths this year. So, almost 300,000 people have died of the flu this year. But somehow, this is a pandemic. The flu this year. But this means you have to dress a certain way. You have to dress up like an absolute asshole. You probably don't have a job anymore, or you're going to lose your job. And if you haven't lost your job, it's coming, because these guys are not going to stop. This is just from the flu. Twice as many as what these guys are reporting from a pandemic that shut down the entire world, and they're going to try to do it again. If you don't share this video absolutely everywhere, or at least share this link and this link to show people what's really going on, you're part of the problem. I don't mean to put it out there like that, but we're in a crisis mode right now. Seriously, this is absolutely stunning to me that these people are doing this. And why am I so pissed off about this? Because right here, from many, many sources, the World Monetary Fund is trying to force people or bribe them to do an extreme lockdown. Impose an extreme lockdown. The Belarus president, not some jerk off like me, the president of Belarus said that the World Monetary Fund, which is Bill Gates and all his pals, are offering them ridiculous amounts of money to impose a second extreme lockdown. You see what I'm saying? World Bank, IMF exposed COVID aid conditional on imposing extreme lockdowns and curfews. Huge foreign loans are given to sovereign nations by the blah, blah, blah. A recent case in Belarus has exposed the conditions laid by these agencies for loans being provided for COVID-19. The president of Belarus has exposed that the World Bank came with conditions for imposing extreme lockdown measures to model the coronavirus response. They're trying to bribe countries that don't want to play anymore because it's just taking forever. It's taking absolutely forever. And even though everywhere I go, everyone's dressed up like an imbecile because they're too lazy to look this up for themselves and they don't have the balls to not wear a mask. You see what I'm saying? I live in a town of 2,500. I went into a sub shop the other day, a sandwich shop, and someone had recently ratted them out on Facebook, so they were all masked up. It's 2,000 degrees in there. They got a pizza oven going. They're making sandwiches. We live on an island surrounded by the ocean. Do you see what I'm saying? And these poor bastards are in there wearing masks. And I wasn't, and I won't. I refuse to. Why do you think my hair's so long? I won't get a haircut because I'm not going to sit in a chair wearing a mask like an imbecile. And I'm not going to go along to get along. I am not doing this. And if everybody would just grab their nutsack and stand up, how are you letting these people, they're cardboard cutout, make-believe politician, too ugly to be famous and be an actor, politician, scumbag, Satan-worshipping, child-raping assholes tell you what to do? God put me here. And as long as I don't harm anybody else, I'm not going to do what these jerk-offs say. Do you see what I'm saying? Is there a law against driving around while I'm totally intoxicated? Yeah. That makes sense. Telling me I have to dress up like some jerk-off to go to the sub shop? It ain't happening. And when I simply said to them, I have asthma. Not that you have any right to ask. They all went, we never thought of that. Well, dude, they have absolutely zero right in the world to ask you why you are or aren't wearing a mask mandated by the governor or the mayor, which is entirely and utterly illegal. They can't do that. They don't have power like that, but nobody bothers to look it up. We're in a pandemic. We literally have wealthy people trying to bribe countries into doing extreme lockdowns and curfews. Over 150,000 reported or purported. I don't know if I said that right. They're saying that 150,000 people have died so far. Yeah? And twice as many have died of the flu with all the lockdowns and social distancing and all the other nonsense. Let's not go to this number. Let's not look at this number or this number, because that would be a pandemic as well. This is most certainly a pandemic, and this is an uber pandemic. This, unbelievable. Every single solitary number on here, which we would just normally consider normal on Earth, all those numbers dwarf this stupid little number, and yet the wealthy people are trying to bribe people. And believe it or not, they'll get it. They'll get it. They're going to get their lockdown one way or the other. But check this out, too, because this is phenomenal. They're going with anything they can. How tall you are could... Get out of here. How tall you are could double your risk of catching coronaviruses, scientists discover. Well, then there you go. Oh, look at this tall guy. This is laughable. And if you believe any of this stuff, you're an absolute imbecile. I don't know what else to tell you. I am sorry. Here's another little fun thing that's going on. Every place that, quote unquote, protesters have ripped down statues in America of our history because they're erasing history and watching stupid Americans do it for them, they're putting up a hologram of this young fella right here. You remember the guy that was arrested for doing a home invasion, sticking a gun to the stomach of a pregnant woman, and then doing whatever else? Yeah. People are stupid, man. See this? Get this now, because they could literally outlaw purchasing this stuff tomorrow, or they could mandate it. Do you see what I'm saying? Don't think it could happen? Really? You ever think you'd be looking around the house because you can't leave because you can't find your face shield or your mask? Yeah, we're in a different world now, folks. And they're pushing. These guys are pushing and pushing and pushing. It's going to come back way worse than it was before. Don't believe me? Really haven't been wrong yet. Richie from Boston. I'm out.